Hello, Bulldogs. Congratulations. We have now finished the first full actual unit of the year. And you guys have finished your summative assessment for that, which in this case is a test. Not all units will end in a test. Early on, I tend to do a little bit more of those just to get you guys going with some of the skills. And then you will have some more project-based assessments as we move along through the curriculum. Now, because we just finished the first unit and the first test, I'm going to go ahead and take today as sort of like a catch-up day, a get your bearings day before we move forward with a new unit. So number one, if you haven't taken the test yet, that's got to be your priority today, okay? Take that test, okay? Because that's a big part of your grade, all right? If you did do your test yesterday and you're done with that, number two would be check to see if you have any missing assignments. If you have a missing assignment or if you have more than one, work on that, okay? If you find that you have no missing assignments either, then number three, find the assignment that you have with the lowest score and redo it and try to improve it and get a higher score, okay? So that's what today is going to be used for. It's going to be used for either getting caught up or just taking the time to do something to help your grade and your learning out, okay? And you do need to fill out the exit slip as well. So I've attached a Google form. It's an exit slip. Other than your name, I believe it has just one question, which is just asking you, what did you work on today? Okay, and I need you to fill that out because that's how I take attendance for the day. It's sort of my check-in to say, okay, I know that person's checked in, they've watched the video, and I'm taking it on trust that then you're going forward and working on something for my class, okay? So make sure you do that. Okay, now I want to talk about one thing related to the test and then one other thing related to the test, and then I'll let you guys go and do your stuff. So I will try to keep this brief, but I've already started grading some of the tests, so I wanted you to make sure you understood how to read the results and what they mean. So when you look over here, and none of these that you can see on the screen are graded, so I'm not showing anybody's grade here. But let's say I was about to grade Brendan's. When I grade it, that blank out of 3 is what your overall score is going to be, okay? And it could come in a decimal. It could be 2.5, 2.75, 1.25. So don't be surprised because I'm averaging the section score for all 4 sections together. So keep that in mind. That's your overall score. You'll also see what I have over here on the right, which breaks down your score for each section and then kind of breaks down your overall grade again. I will click the box that your overall grade falls in. You won't see the exact decimal number here for it, but you'll know if it's in the F range, which is the 0 out of 3 range, if it's in the D range, which is the 1 out of 3 range, if it's in the B/C range, which is the 2 out of 3 range, or if it's in the A range, which is in the 3 out of 3. So you can also see me mark it that up there, what range you're in, but the most specific number to get what your score is, like I said, is going to be what's literally just put out of 3 right there. For each of the 4 sections, though, it's the same kind of thing. You will see whether you got a 1 on that, or a 0 on that section, a 1, a 2, or a 3 for all 4 sections. And you can always click down to remind yourself what that means. Oh, 3 out of 3, I have to get either 5 out of 5, or maybe I got a half point off on something. I got a 4.5. 2 out of 3, that means I have to be somewhere between a 3.5 out of 5 to a 4 out of 5 for the questions on that section. A 1 out of 3 means you got 2 of the questions right in that section, or up to 3 of those questions right. And if you got less than 2 questions right for a section, that is in that 0 category, which means you'll probably want to do some, try to do a retake eventually on that stuff, okay? And then, like I said, I'm going to take all 4 of your section scores, average them together for an overall score, okay? And so that's, by looking at the section grades, that's going to give you a sense for which sections you struggled with most, right? And which sections you did a good job on. And that's going to help inform you if you want to retake. Now, if you want to retake, there is one other thing though. You're going to need more specific feedback than just seeing which section you did the weakest on or the strongest on. So if you want to retake the test, I need you to send me a private message on the Constitution test assignment Okay, so when you click view assignment, you can see on the right, I've showed you guys this before, a side of the screen where I might have sent you any comments. If I didn't send you any comments, you will still see a blank like this that says add private comment. And that's where you can send me a message saying, hey, Mr. Peterson, I want to retake the test. What do I need to work on, right? Or if you're in Mr. Chavez's class, send that message to Mr. Chavez. Okay, and then I will give you some feedback on the ones you're struggling with and kind of maybe some resources to look into to practice. And then once you get to that point and you're ready, I will change the settings so that you can retake that test. But you got to let me know. You got to let Mr. Chavez know if he's your teacher. So we make sure that you're actually getting to review and study this stuff before you retake it. Okay. All right. I think that's all for that part. So then I just have one last thing to go over. And that is, I'm going to show you on here. The other thing I wanted to go over is I thought for most of you, when you want to retake it, I'm going to give you some feedback when you ask for it and stuff like that. But I thought I might as well reteach one part because I'm noticing some people struggling with 2 questions. And I'm not showing you the actual questions from the test here because I'm not going to just give you the answer. But this question number 10 is from your review sheet, and it's the exact same type of question. I just did it with different branches here. So if you pay attention, I'm going to go ahead and reteach that skill. And that right there should hopefully help you understand how to approach those 2 questions on the test. So if you do end up retaking the test and you get to those questions where it asks you to name a check that one branch has on another, this is going to help you know what to do. Okay. So this question says, name one check the legislative branch has on the executive branch. Okay. Now remember, to have a check on another branch means that you can step in and stop them from misusing their power. So that means in this case, the branch, sorry, I got like something stuck in my throat. I promise I'm not sick. I had just had lunch. That means the executive branch in this example is the one who is misusing their power, right? Because it's the legislative branch who has to step in to check them. So I'm going to go, because remember, you can use this handout on your test. I'm going to go to my checks and balances handout, and I'm going to look at, well, what are the checks against the executive branch? Okay. So I go to examples of checks against the executive branch. And I have 4 here. And I have to find one of them that is the legislative branch checking the executive branch. So whatever example I pick, it has to be something the legislative branch did to step in to stop them. So is the Supreme Court declaring an executive order unconstitutional? Go ahead actually and pause the video here and jot this down in your social studies notebook. I want you to try to answer this. Is that an example of the legislative branch stepping in to check the executive branch? Okay, I'm going to assume you have answered that, and hopefully you said no, because the Supreme Court is not in the legislative branch, right? The Supreme Court is in the judicial branch. Remember, judicial judge. So that's not an example of the legislative branch having a check on the executive branch. That's an example of the judicial branch having a check on the executive branch. But look at these 3 examples right here. The first one talks about Congress being able to override a president's veto. Congress is what we call the legislative branch, right? It's another name for it. We have another one where it says Congress can impeach the president. So that's another check Congress has, the legislative branch has on the executive branch. And then the Senate, we know, is one of the 2 houses in Congress. So that we know that's also part of the legislative branch. So the fact that the Senate can reject judges appointed by the president is also a check against the executive branch. So you could put any of those on there, those 3, not the bottom one, but you put any of those 3 on there. And that's an example of the legislative branch having a check, a way to come in and stop the executive branch when the president, usually it's the president, misuses their power, because the president's the main one in the executive branch. So I'll just pick this one because I had it highlighted. I can do any of them. So my answer would just simply be, the Senate can reject the president's let's see how I worded it here. Let's do it that closer to that. Can reject a judge that the president appointed. I'll put that in bold so you can see that. So you can see that the person doing the check, the Senate, is from the legislative branch, and the person being checked, the president, is from the executive branch. So the example is showing that the legislative branch is stepping in to check or stop someone from the executive branch from misusing their power. Okay, like I said, that's the only one I'm going to reteach now because I don't want to make a 30-minute video reteaching all the different skills, but that was just one I've noticed already grading a few that a lot of people have struggled on. So that should help you if you end up wanting to retake the test. Okay, so again, take the test if you haven't done it yet. If you've already done that, work on missing work. If you don't have any missing work, redo one of your lowest grades for my class and make sure that no matter what you do, you click on that Google form exit slip and you answer the questions and submit it. All right, I'm going to get out of here and let you guys work. Have a good one.